Hi everyone! In this week's Entrepreneurship in the News presentation, Team 6, consisting of Sergey, Veronica, Sheena, and Nikki, will take you through the topic of microfranchising. First, we will introduce or familiarize you with what exactly microfranchising is and the issue it is currently working to solve. We will then provide you an overview of the Raconteur's article, Microfranchising, Helping the World's Poor Climb Out of Poverty, we previously shared, and explain the relevance to entrepreneurship. Following this, we will relate the concept of microfranchising back to some of our core strategies and theories and identify some key takeaways that helped our team increase our understanding of entrepreneurship. Finally, we will provide you with a thought-provoking question that we hope will generate intriguing responses on this week's forum. We hope you enjoy our presentation and we look forward to discussing with you. According to Living Goods, microfranchising enables their community health agents to reduce child deaths by more than 27% for less than $2 per person annually. For many of us, this is less than what we'd be spending on our morning cup of coffee. Did you know there's approximately 2.5 billion people in the world in need of glasses, however they can't afford them? And free medication available in underdeveloped countries is not necessarily free when transportation, loss of working hours, and other costs are factored in. With most people in countries that are in need of an entrepreneur's attention living well below the poverty line, the challenge becomes how to attract entrepreneurs into countries that don't typically offer financial gains. This is exactly what microfranchising seeks to do, helping make a real difference in the communities and entire countries where it is needed most. So what exactly is microfranchising? Well, microfranchising is a business model and tool derived from the traditional franchise model, except on a much smaller scale. The microfranchising model aims to increase business opportunities that enable people in underdeveloped countries to lift themselves out of poverty. The objective is to reduce poverty while also resolving key development issues such as health, sanitation, education, and energy. The benefit behind the microfranchising model is that it is helping underprivileged people to gain a self-sufficient economy where that opportunity is otherwise currently lacking. Microfranchising encompasses the concept of microfinance, whereby impoverished people with minimal resources are provided an opportunity to become self-sufficient through mini loans. As our notes from Rita suggest, the blending of microfranchising with microfinance results in the franchise business model being applied to a social innovation purpose. Bill Drayton sums this up perfectly with a fishing analogy on page 40 of our Effectual Entrepreneurship text, suggesting that the idea is not to give people fish, nor is it to teach them how to fish, rather it is to build a new and better fishing industry. Microfranchising helps make this possible by enabling expansion into rural and hard-to-reach communities which have otherwise been ignored by large companies due to the high associated delivery costs and low purchasing power. This helps bridge the distribution gap while also creating employment opportunity and economic activity. Living Goods, the main focus of our chosen article, is a microfranchise organization who focuses relentlessly on improving people's lives. As you will recall, the article states that nearly half of the world's population is captured by poverty, with nearly 3 billion people living on a mere $2.50 a day. Therefore, relying on charity is not a feasible long-term option. The task then falls on social enterprises, impact investors, and enlightened governments to work together to overcome the infrastructure challenges, costs, and organizational hurdles that make reaching these people and breaking the poverty cycle so difficult. Living Goods helps impoverished communities break the poverty cycle and reduce child mortality by using the Avon Lady model with their business in a bag. This model is ideal for training poor and unskilled would-be entrepreneurs in hard-to-reach communities. Risks such as securing funding, distribution, and brand recognition are removed, and the franchisee can replicate a proven model with minimal training. This model provides social transformation as well as return on investment, a win-win situation as jobs are created, businesses are driven by local demand, and community members sell to each other, thereby spurring economic development. Other successful micro-franchises highlighted in the article include the Clothing Bank, which provides women in South Africa the opportunity to learn how to run a retail franchise, Vision Spring, which aims to help consumers who earn an average of $4 per day to buy their first pair of glasses, and Jabu, which franchises and trains young people to run their own clean water franchise. I will now turn you over to Sheena, who will discuss the relevance of microfranchising to entrepreneurship and relate this topic to theories and strategies from our entrepreneurship course.
Thank you, Nikki. Microfranchising is unique as it provides opportunities to people who do not necessarily possess an entrepreneurial mindset. People, especially women in the world's poorest economies, are given a detailed business model that has minimal risks, specialized training, and ongoing mentorship, ultimately training individuals to become micro-entrepreneurs, or more so, necessity entrepreneurs. This model empowers them to use their local community familiarity as facilitators and knowledge brokers, this improving their quality of life and benefiting their communities. Micro-franchise models are addressing social change while making a social impact, giving people skills to take ownership of a business, producing more job opportunities, and providing a solution to bring services and goods that are needed in developing countries. To provide you with an example on the franchisor side, let's look back at the Living Goods example. They develop a model that offers products at a cheaper than free price. To illustrate this, imagine medication that is offered by the government's agency is free of charge, but it costs a patient $1 to get it, factoring the transportation and the loss of working hours. And the micro-franchise model delivers the same medication for 50 cents directly to the patient's door. Does this not sound like a sustainable business? Well, it sure does. And guess who sells and delivers the product from a warehouse to a patient's door? A micro-entrepreneur who is now happily employed, needed by the society, and is making an income that is directly tied to their entrepreneurial success. Micro-franchising truly offers the opportunity to underprivileged people to better themselves and their community, which enables entrepreneurial culture. A true benefit of this model is that it doesn't require the franchisees to be entrepreneurial. They have a roadmap covering everything from access to supply chains, equipment and products, and marketing and brand awareness. It also provides a strong support system, operational, financial, and emotional, which is very important in developing countries whose franchisees may have a low self-esteem. Last week, we had a great discussion about social innovation and social entrepreneurship. Rita remarked this as rewarding ordinary people for making an extraordinary impact on the world. And we believe that micro-franchising directly relates to this statement. It is essentially a small franchise business model with a social innovational purpose. This concept also tends to seek a triple bottom line, as seen in social entrepreneurship, as it benefits the people, planet, and also creates a profit. The principles of effectuation are also tied into micro-franchising. For instance, the bird and hand principle, as stated in effectuational.org. Most often you start with a very small with the closest means and move almost directly into implementation without elaborate planning. Fire aim versus aim fire. The other principle is the crazy quilt principle with the focus on the value of creating and developing partnerships. Micro-franchising requires little capital to start, which relates to the affordable loss theory. Starting with little capital is considered a good thing because if you fail cheap and learn quickly. Lean startup stages presented in the Running Lean text are also linked, as the first stage of defining the problem statement is answering the questions of, do I have a problem worth solving? Have I built something people want? And how do I accelerate growth? And we believe micro-franchises clearly answer yes to all of these questions. Lean startup concept of developing smaller, faster iterations for testing a vision also reminds us of taking a regular franchise and making it a micro-franchise. To highlight a few key takeaways, you do not need an entrepreneurial mindset to take on an idea or opportunity. Entrepreneurs can be taught, and with the right business model in hand, you can be successful. Also, how much micro-franchising and the principles of effectuation are directly linked. And lastly, that micro-franchising is a win-win business model, creating an entrepreneurial culture. They are successful, sustainable, and scalable models that address multiple challenges within a developing country, helping necessity entrepreneurs making a difference within the world's poorest communities. So now that we know all about microfranchising, we would like to know if you have ever heard of microfranchising before, and if you could share with the class an example of a community that has been either positively or negatively affected by microfranchising. So on behalf of Team 6, we would like to thank you for listening to our presentation about microfranchising, and we look forward to your responses in this week's forum.